My name is Peter Hearty with Hearty Law. Today we're answering your frequently asked question, how do I keep my legal fees down during my divorce proceeding? Legal fees in divorce proceedings can quickly escalate. Today I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to keep your legal fees under control. Tip number 1, be reasonable. What does being reasonable mean? Being reasonable means understanding what the legal issues are and understanding the range of potential outcomes. One of the more contentious areas in divorce proceedings can be where the children will live, who they will live with, and who will make decisions about their well-being. It's not reasonable to take the position that the children ought not to see the other parent. The law requires, both under the Divorce Act, which is federal legislation, and provincially in Ontario under the Family Law Act, legislation requires that there be maximum contact between the children and each parent. Saying that you do not want your children to see the other parent, not reasonable, and yes, I will represent you through those proceedings, but I'll tell you before we begin, the outcome is not going to be favorable for you. You're going to spend an awful lot of money trying to take the position that the children can't see the other parent, unless there's some additional evidence in the form of a psychological report, medical reports, or some other expert evidence as to why the children cannot see the other parent. That's not going to be the outcome. The outcome likely is going to be some sort of maximum contact principle. So the children may end up primarily residing with one parent and seeing the other parent at specified times. Being reasonable is understanding at the start that that is potentially an outcome or within the range of outcomes, and then you can make your decisions as to what you want to do moving forward from there. Tip number 2 to keep your legal fees down during divorce proceedings, be prepared. What does be prepared mean? Well, in family law proceedings, typically the largest area for information is text messages and financial information. Financial information includes things like tax returns, notice of assessments, pay stubs, bank statements, and financial information for corporations held closely by one spouse. Organize the information so I can actually understand it. Summarize it somewhere where I can actually know where to go, where to find the information. Yes, I can, or my support staff can organize everything for you, but all that's going to do is increase your legal fees. Do some of that administrative work yourself. Put it into PDF format so I can actually read it. Simply taking screenshots or taking photographs of these financial documents and sending them to me by email, especially when the document number's in the hundreds, yeah, we can organize it all, but it's only going to add to your legal costs. What about text messages? Text messages, the subject itself, I'll leave for a whole other video and the value of them, but typically clients come to me with a lot of text messages and emails, communication they've had with their ex-spouse. Well, I can't do much with hundreds and hundreds of text messages in various formats. Put them into a format that I can read. Show them to a family member or a close friend, somebody that doesn't know much about your situation. Ask them to look at it. If they have no idea what the information is or can't find any of the information, typically it's not ready to come to your lawyer's office. And again, yes, I can sift through all of this information, or support staff can sift through this information and organize it. But at the end of the day, us doing that is only adding to your legal costs. Do some of that administrative work yourself, and you'll see your legal bills going down. Tip number 3 for keeping your legal costs down in divorce proceedings. Get outside help. Divorce is high conflict and stressful for everybody. No matter if you've been through it before or not, you need somebody to help you through the process. You need that friend, family member, confidant, somebody who's there to listen, somebody who's there to cheerlead. Or you may need a mental health professional, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, somebody for you and for your children. Somebody looking after your well-being and mental health. There's people there, there's people to reach out to, and there's people to help you with that. I'm not that person. I'm here to help you with your legal issues. If you want to keep your legal fees down, then have your lawyer focus and concentrate on the legal issues. As I tell all my clients, I'm not here to make decisions for you. I'm here to ensure that you're making informed decisions in your best interest and the best interest of your children. There's nothing worse than me being here and being a cheerleader for you, telling you everything you're doing is fantastic and everything you're doing is right, and then send my bill to you for thousands of dollars and not have any outcome that you want, not have any outcome that you were expecting. That's not my role. My role here is to help you through the legal process. There's a lot of conflict and discussion as to what exactly that means. A lot of it is parenting. From my view, a lawyer is not here to help parent your children. Lawyers and judges are not parents. You know your children better than anybody. Yes, a judge is responsible for ensuring that they're making decisions that are in the best interest of the child, but a lot of the parenting issues, those are to be resolved between you and the other parent, or get that other professional to help you mediate any conflict. Lawyers that you engage in this process to help with parenting issues gets very expensive very quickly. If you want to keep your legal fees down, then keep your legal issues focused to what actually needs to get resolved and what is the most efficient way to resolve those issues. Tip number 4 on how to keep your legal fees low during your divorce proceedings. Make concessions. What do I mean by make concessions? Well, typically I'm talking about the smaller items. Furniture in the house. One that's quite common now and comes up quite a bit, how we communicate with the other parent, or how you communicate with your other parent. A lot of clients use an app called Our Family Wizard. Fantastic app for capturing all the communication between the two parents, especially useful in high conflict situations. The cost of the app is about $125 a year or thereabouts. A lot of times it comes up where there's some dispute over who ought to be paying for that app. It's $125. I can absolutely argue with the other side on your behalf and try and get it split or try and have the other side pay for it. You could easily spend $200 or $300 in legal fees arguing over who's going to spend $125. We can talk about kids' clothing, kids' bicycles. Typically they're talking hundreds of dollars or 20s of dollars, not high ticket items. Yes, if you want to have me argue with the other side on your behalf, more than happy to do it. That's my job. I'm doing whatever you're asking me to do and however I need to advocate on your behalf. But keep in mind, when you're talking about these items, you can quickly spend more on legal fees than what the cost of the item is. House furniture is another perfect example. Do we want to spend hundreds of dollars on legal fees talking about who's going to get that couch? You can quickly spend more on legal fees than what a new couch is going to cost. So what do I mean by make concessions? I mean understanding what the real valuable items are. Things like pensions, spousal support. Those are the high ticket items. Those are the ones that are going to help you get through the process and help reorganize your life financially. Those are where you want to expend your legal fees, on those larger issues. The small issues, try and make concessions on those and understand that, hey, I don't need to win every battle. At the end of the day, making those concessions, you'll see your legal fees going down. Tip number 5 on how to keep legal fees low during your divorce proceedings. Be reasonable. Repeated. Be reasonable. You may think I'm repeating myself. It's because I am. Really, the entire video could have been put down to one tip. Be reasonable. 2 reasonable people acting in their best interest and the best interest of the children, you will not spend a lot of money on lawyers. I often give my clients this example. It's from a 2016 Ontario Superior Court of Justice decision. In that case, the father was a member of the Toronto Police Service. The mother was a stay-at-home mom. And about a year after separation, the father sent the mother an email looking to spend more time with his daughter. And he says, "We are both reasonable people, and I really think we can work this out without spending $40,000 to $50,000 a piece in lawyer fees, only have to have a judge tell us something we could arrange ourselves. Please, I'm begging you to be reasonable." Fast forward 3 years, a month of trial, the father spent $300,000 in legal fees. The mother spent $200,000 in legal fees. This was very much a middle-class family. The father was completely successful at trial. The judge ordered that the mother pay him $200,000 of his legal costs. But did the father really win? I don't think anybody won. The father, yes, technically has won his case, but the parents and the child, their financial future is now at risk because the parents spent $500,000 in legal fees. Child issues typically are the most contentious in any divorce proceedings, and it's where your legal fees can escalate quickly. If you can resolve your parenting issues, your legal fees will stay very low. Judges are obligated by legislation to make decisions that are in the best interest of the child, but judges are not professionals in relation to child care, raising children. Sometimes a psychologist, a social worker, somebody there with real knowledge of you and your children can help you and your ex-spouse work through some of those difficult parenting issues. And at a much cheaper rate than going to court and having a judge make that decision. Needing expert evidence, expert reports. Yes, all of that's possible, and yes, I'm happy to help you litigate those issues, and I'm happy to help you through that legal process. But I encourage you to look at other options. I encourage you to look at those outside professionals that can work with you and your children and your ex-spouse. Make decisions, come to a resolution, resolve your legal issues without the need for hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees. You want to keep your legal fees low? Be reasonable, be prepared, get outside help, make concessions, but most importantly, be reasonable. If you have any questions on any family law proceeding in Ontario, please contact Hearty Law today.